So the recent Minecraft Snapshot 24W33A and the bunch of numbers preview on Minecraft Bedrock Edition did something huge to the trial chamber. For like essentially the first time ever, beautifully, a major Minecraft update drops and the devs aren't finished with it. There's more. Relatively recently, the trial chambers not only got brand new rooms called encounters, but also a couple other big changes as well. Even better, these big changes are on both versions of Minecraft and should be releasing in the next update. So if you could remember, a couple of months ago, right before the release of a Minecraft 1.21 Tricky Trials update, we did something, well, as the elders would say, merp, I did a thing. So the trial chamber structure, we did a deep dive into the entire structure, every single little component, big and not so little, and even theorized on what might be coming to the trial chamber next. If you haven't yet, check out the video next. Here is every single trial room and secret subtle little change coming in the next Minecraft update. Alright, so I got a little bit of organization going on. These are all of the old pieces. Everything new is behind the yellow and orange dotted line. All the way down back here, decorations. Inside of this update, we have 17 brand new decor things coming to the trial chamber structure. Now, first things first, we have every single bed color that can now be found inside of the structure. Every single color is going to go for all 16 colors of the Minecraft color bed. Taking you on a little run to jog your memory here. Now these beds, they're going to spawn or generate. These beds will be found in various spots inside of the trial chamber, usually in like crossroady areas. So like this room, for example, well, previously inside of the main release of the Tricky Trials update, we would have had predetermined bed colors inside of this room. Now going forward, we're going to get randomized bed colors, which means I think, for example, the gray bed, this has to be the very first time this is generating in all of Minecraft entirely. Now, in the initial release version of Minecraft 1.21, leading into a lot of these combat experience chamber rooms, we would find empty chests sitting around. These empty chests were admittedly maybe a little bit confusing if you are, alright, look, I won't shame anyone's youth or inexperience. Anyways, leading into some of these really cool rooms all over the trial chamber, you would find empty chests. Say goodbye to empty chests. Hey, final farewell, salute to send off. Because this piece of the generation of the structure has been removed. It's deleted, gone, done so. Never gonna see it again. Instead, my friends, and this is something we talked quite a bit about in the initial preview video, in the snapshot video when this thing was added, but instead, we will find a hopper barrel combination. Not only is this going to be a little bit more intuitive for players that maybe like aren't in the know to understand, but baby, that's hoppers all over the structure. Because the trial chamber structure has some variation to it. I mean, there's no set amount, but this is going to mean every single trial chamber, you could probably come out of the thing with at least like 5 hoppers. Break them, take them, bring them home, and use them in a farm. That's cool. Hey-o, real quick, while I'm setting up this world for the next part of the video, tap that like button. It will make me smile eternally. Alright, so here's the thing. The new trial chambers. If you're looking to see these chambers, you will need to do one of two things. Option number one, inside of your current pre-existing world that's like in 1.21, you are going to need to head far off into the sunset only once this update actually drops. You see how Minecraft generation works? Wow, this is a beautiful seed. You see how Minecraft generation works? If you've already loaded it in, that structure will not change. It's locked in, set in stone, how it is. Option numero dos is go ahead and create yourself a brand new world, head down under the ground, and try your hand at finding a trial chamber. But don't get too excited here because unfortunately, pretty much every one of these new components, aside from the decor pieces, they're actually pretty rare. So these new decor pieces, nevertheless, they are new parts of the structure, so I had to talk about them. But a little bit more interestingly, we have not one, but 5 new encounters and a couple other new pieces of the hallway part of this structure. Now, these new encounters, inside of the game, they're defined as a new variation of the hallways. They're meant to be a small challenge that is going to step you into the bigger, more main challenge. Now, referring back to this video again, the main challenge is going to be the proper trial chamber itself. The mini challenge, or the new encounter. Inside of the game files, these will be found tucked inside of the hallways folder. Every single one of these new encounters, all 5 of them, they're like decently sizable, but definitely still all smaller than the proper trial chamber rooms. Encounter number 1. This is still one that I have not found in survival Minecraft, but it's a little bit of a twisting, winding room. At least I don't think I found this one, because this is actually pretty similar looking to those OG entrance rooms. We have a small hallway that kind of enters through here, winds over here. Then we've got a big grand staircase, and inside of this room, every single time you will find some kind of spawner. Now, this one is pulling from spawner all, which means it could literally be any spawner, but those spawners will still be within, like, the defined parameters of your individual trial chamber. Meaning, like, for example, this random trial chamber, if I had that room, well, this trial chamber for ranged mobs picks strays. So the ranged spawner that you could potentially find there, it's always going to be a stray. It will never be something out of category and random, like a bog or a skeleton. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Also, inside of this room, you'll be able to always find some kind of reward here too. Then this should, if the structure generates correctly, on one side lead into a trial chamber. Next up, encounter number 2, the first one that I found. Every single time, you'll have a breeze spawner sitting back in the corner, and you'll have a little bit of a reward sitting over here. We've got an entrance right there, and then, oh, a little bit of parkour. You take out the breeze, you get the breeze rod, you turn it into the breeze ball, and then you go ahead and send yourself all the way up to move on to the next part of the chamber. Alright, now encounter number 3, this is a thin one, it's a tall one. This is a really cool one too. So starting up here at the top, we enter from some other part of the structure, and then boom, right off the bat, we're presented with a challenge, some kind of spawner, and the spawner type, it could be any spawner again. Then in this one, we kind of have these little holes in the corners. So in survival Minecraft here, I go ahead and jump down and I have a lower part of the structure. I'm not sure if that's a missing block or intentional, but yeah, it is what it is right now inside of the files. Anyways, we keep continuing to move down, and eventually we will find another reward here at the bottom of this room. That's a cool one. I like the use of verticality inside of this room, but I have a proposed change. We'll talk about it later. Encounter number 4. This is probably the largest, in fact, definitely the largest out of our 5 new encounters. Sliding into this encounter from over here, take a look at this thing. It's so dangerous. All the way down at the bottom, this was evil. That was devious. If I fall from this height in survival without any armor on, well, because the entire floor is pointed dripstone, good luck with that. And also, when climbing back up, you're trying to be speedy, well, good luck with that. We have intentionally a couple of ladders missing. Come on, how could they do that? Now, keep in mind that these rooms are meant to be cut-throughs to get from one point to the other point. So inside of this room, you got to do a little bit of parkour and hopefully land on these little spots every single time. To make it even more dangerous, inside of this room, we will always have some kind of ranged mob spawner inside of this thing. Oh. Oh, and there's a trap. So that means by the time you enter this room and walk over next to this wall right here, you might hear the spawner activate, and yeah, you're gonna jump over here, immediately get hit with some type of skeleton shooting at you. Good luck. You jump up here, you jump over this way, you gotta be careful. So cleverly, from this platform that you jump over, your head is gonna hit this tripwire, and the dispenser is going to shoot out an arrow at you, and to maybe if you're not careful, you freak out, splat, all the way down to the bottom of the dripstone it is. I guess great news if you're at the bottom. There is going to be some kind of reward at the bottom of the thing, but you're gonna need armor to survive that fall. That's dangerous. Let's say, theoretically though, in a survival setting, I made that jump, survived the trap, then next up I move here, and then last but not least, I move all the way down here, and it's on to the next room for me. That's a devious one. That's an evil trial chamber, and now we can see why there's so much height to it, but I love the challenge. It's so cool. This encounter in specific and the trap that we're going to take a look at in a minute, I love what the devs did with, like, you get used to the trial chamber in 1.21, and then the difficulty kind of goes up inside of this next new update. That's so cool. Last but not least, though, encounter number 5. So encounter number 5, this is almost like a proper mini trial chamber room in itself. This encounter, like all of the other ones, has 2 entrances. We've got a high entrance and a low entrance. And now these jigsaw blocks all over this structure right here, these are kind of showing off where potential traps might connect inside of the structure. Meaning, like on the wall right here, you might find a dispenser trap. And because our dispenser trap is defined with jigsaw blocks here, that means it can pull from any of the dispenser loot tables that we checked out in, well, for the 3rd time today, this video right here. Now, other than that, inside of this room, every single time over here, you will find a breeze spawner, and you'll find a little reward over there for after you beat the breeze. So those are the different pieces of this puzzle, but what about maybe moving into the pieces of this puzzle, looking on the inside for some kind of hidden block or piece or component or anything? Well, unfortunately, from taking a look at the inner workings of the structure, a missed opportunity and a big one. That's all that I found. As cool as that would be, especially in this staircase one, yeah, unfortunately, no. And aha, 5 trial chamber structures later, at last I found, finally, an encounter. Now this is actually an encounter that I've seen before, except on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. We have a simple door right here that's going to walk in, that breeze spawner that I told you about, and then a reward spot right here. After that, you're going to have to do a little bit of parkour, and good luck with all the range mobs in here, because that's going to be a headache and could be absolutely disgusting. And look at that, 1 chamber later, I found a trap. So this one, just like the last one, is going to branch off of this main hallway. We open the door, we walk forward, we have a small spiral staircase. Now, I'm a little familiar with this trap. I know what happens if I jump down the middle. If I did, and I didn't get caught in the lush cave vine that saved my life totally right there, well, I would have splatted straight down into some pointed dripstone, again, removing my life. On the other hand, though, if I played my game a little bit more cool and went down the spiral staircase, eventually I find a corridor that seems to every single time lead to at least this chest right here. If you're lucky, there'll be another chest as well. Alright, now back inside of our structures world, the other new piece of the puzzle here, the one that we got a little glimpse of, is a tall component. This piece right here, of course, predictably, is going to be that giant spiral staircase with the pointed dripstone all the way down to the bottom of it. I love that they went back and incorporated the pointed dripstone to the structure. I mean, it's a little evil, sure, but I think it's so cool to actually have the whole fall damage increase mechanic directly referenced inside of the game now. Now, when I was doing a little bit of structure file diving, I also found this interesting component to the structure that I don't believe was there before. It's called rubble chamber thin, and it's essentially just a small wall that will generate from time to time. The thing that's a little confusing here about this all is we have a piece that is pretty much identical, or had a piece that is just called rubble thin previously. Other changes to the trial chamber structure, because actually, believe it or not, there are a few. First things first, let's kick it off with the proper chambers themselves. So these old chests that I was talking about earlier on, that used to generate at the entrance. Well, if we go ahead and access the structure block down here, go ahead and tap load to refresh the structure, we'll find out that the new version of the structure completely removes those chests. Instead, we've got a new jigsaw right here that leads to the disposal piece. And again, the disposal piece is going to be this little component that we checked out earlier on. So that change, it goes for every single trial chamber piece that had an empty chest. But quite curiously, we don't only have additions, because we also actually have a removal from the structure as well. Hallway 4 and 5 of the slanted trial chamber. Well, hallway 4 and 5 seemingly were duplicates. In fact, I feel like I have deja vu as to questioning why these pieces were even here in the structure in the first place in the initial trial chamber video. But yeah, hallway 4 and 5, which is this piece right here and that piece right here, they have now been entirely cut out of the structure files. That'll leave us with just the hallway 3 piece that looks like this. Now, there are actually some very subtle differences here with these other pieces, but yeah, I guess they just weren't necessary in the structure. And speaking of not necessary in the structure, please, show yourself out. Now, another change that has changed inside of this structure has to do with the pieces of the structure with the previously predetermined bed types. For example, intersection number 3. If I go ahead and update the structure block for this one, then jump back into the structure, inside of the structure where the previously predetermined beds would generate, we now have jigsaw blocks that reference the decor bed pieces. And so, that brings us to the final part of today's video. The part of the video where we ask, what's next? Heartless Mosh. I don't know what happened to Heartless Mosh, but for some reason, Heartless Mosh, I can't seem to find the account on Twitter. It's gone. But that will not stop me. No. For the 4th and final time today, this video that I referenced, and near the end of it, we took a look at some of Mosh's other teasers that he had put out at the time. For example, honeypot diagonal vertical. What are those? There are also a couple other references and teasers, but to me, the biggest one that still stands and is a complete mystery is a honeypot. Now look, I have no clue what honeypot actually means, but I do have a proposed potential reality. What if inside of some of these ones that are like really tall, really vertical, we show off the honey block mechanic a little bit with like maybe the occasional honey block dropping from layer to layer. So that would mean in a survival setting, let's say we have the honey blocks right there, I jump into it and then I can like slowly move down, right? And like carefully land on the next platform. That would be fire. So that big, tall, ginormous intersection, I feel like that's a great opportunity for honeypot to pop up. But then also, I was kind of thinking maybe encounter number 3 as well. Imagine if somewhere inside of this encounter, we had like maybe a couple honey blocks just like placed down, very clever, very like tinily, cleverly, whatever, placed down in the corner. So again, you could jump into them, slide down slowly, and like safely land on the next platform. I feel like that could be pretty fire. All in all though, new pieces of the trial chamber, these still standing mysteries, and an inside look looking for secrets. We did it at the end of part 1, I'll do it at the end of part 2 right here. All in all, this new update of the trial chambers coming in Minecraft 1.21.2 or Minecraft Bedrock 1.21.30. Well, it adds a total of 6 brand new pieces to the hallways, 17 brand new pieces to the decor, and then it actually removes 2 pieces from the slanted trial chamber piece, as well as, of course, updating a couple other small things across the entire structure. From a bird's eye view, if you were curious, that means we're looking at something like this on top of everything that we checked out before. And interestingly, our full trial chamber puzzle piece count right here, the trial chamber, 9 categories consisting of 191 individual pieces. We need to add like 9 pieces to this. I mean, it already wasn't close. Ancient city, trail, ruined structure being the closest ones and not even close, but 9 more pieces? And then we get 200 structure components. That's absurd. But the new pieces of the trial chamber, the deep dive, that's just about it. And tap that like button and subscribe for more. Next up, I feel like there was a part that I kept referencing in today's video. Maybe check that out if you haven't yet. If you love what I do, you want the occasional world download, or you're just looking to support me a little bit more directly, consider becoming a channel member today. Tap the join button for more. This has been me, the green-haired beauty. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.